participate in this skills-based competition, right, which occurs at what, local, state, and national levels, right? And I think the national competition is about to happen, or is happening.
End of this month.
Yeah, okay. But this is a topic that's come up every now and then, and we figured, hey, you know, given given Metropolitan Community College's recent success, we really wanted to highlight that. So,
all right. So before we jump into the presentation, I've got two more introductions to make. One is one of my students, Nick Dimitrov. He is in his fourth quarter in our program. He's actually one of our HVAC competitors at Skills at the state level this year. His first time going, we're about a little less than halfway through his third quarter of the course, and he took third place at the state level. So,
not only for teenagers in high school, you know, old people can go too. So, yeah, Skills USA, white beard doesn't stop me. I learned a lot. It was really interesting. I felt a little bit off kind of track because you'll see all this, to me, like the age of my son. And here I am there just sitting with Robert. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Between careers, I'm switching to HVAC, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, new things that I've never done before. But it was an experience that very helpful. I would encourage your students to just push them in. And it's not about a competition. It's about learning new things, trying new things. Just go with it. So, and if you don't win, you don't win. Not a big deal.
and this is Zach Pechacek. He is our skills coordinator for Metropolitan Community College. He is also one of our 3 full-time electrical faculty members.
Awesome.
Former industry coordinator for the college as well. So he's been in our system for a bit, and he's knows his way around. So.
Perfect. Thank you, Robert. Good afternoon, guys. So how many of you guys have kind of heard about Skills USA before? 12 of you? Okay. It's in all the states, so if you don't know about it, you all have it. It's also in 4 U.S. territories. So like Robert said, here in a couple weeks, we're going to be going down to Louisville, Kentucky for our national conference. Metro will be taking 22 students in different areas. I think we're in about 15 or 18 areas, but we'll have about 22 students there. So we do take a pretty good group, and we kind of fund all that along the way too. But it's really just a heck of an opportunity for students to get involved and really help bridge that gap between business and industry. So that way, when they go out there and start looking for jobs, they already have made that network connection, which is huge, right? So a little bit of background of kind of what Skills is. So it's really made up of 3 parts. And first and foremost is our students. They're what hold the organization together. They're what the organization is developed around, and they're our target piece. So we do everything we can with them. We travel with them. We give them leadership skills, employability skills, help them perfect their craft. And like I always say too, like when their students are practicing for their competitions, that's free one-on-one time with the instructors, basically, right? So we put a lot of time in. Our students are going to nationals. I know I've spent 2 days a week for about 4 hours with those students every day after school, and we've been, or 2 days a week, or whatever. And so that's basically bettering their skill and their ability. So when they go out to the workforce, they're already going to climb that ladder faster. So they're kind of our main target. Secondly is industry, is the instructors here. So our college is so big and we're spread out across so many campuses. This is a great way for our instructors to stay involved together too, because we fall underneath this CTE blanket, but we're spread so far apart we don't get to meet each other a lot. So this is a good thing because even in this picture here you see welders and automotive guys and some audio guys behind them, all together, all of our instructors. But they're from all the different campuses. So it's a great way for us to come together, keep the students involved, and then also for our students to overlap programs too. We don't get that chance to come together a whole lot around here, so it helps out a lot. And then also industry involvement. So there's a ton of industry people there, partners there. One thing we're really targeting here in Nebraska is our smaller industry. We're pretty like a small community essentially in a big area. But everybody knows everybody. So we're trying to habit more of our small businesses to become on board because they can bounce guys around. They always say, oh, hey, this guy approached me and I thought about hiring him, but I just don't have the affordability right now, but I could send them your way. It'd be a great hire for you guys. And so we're trying to get them more involved. At the national level, we have some higher sponsors, bigger sponsors. Every big company pretty much across the area is involved, and they're out there looking for people. And so this is a great way for them to kind of help bridge that gap and give students that chance to meet them one-on-one. So the contest, there's over 100 of them. But they're all set up by business industries. So like if you're an HVAC, when you're tested on refrigeration, how units are cooled, do some math and some science stuff, and then a little bit more like the heating and cooling. You know, every competition is set up right around what they want you to know in industry. So having the industry set these up really helps our programs push forward too, because we teach what they need to know to compete, which is what industry is looking for. So it's kind of just a great circle all the way around. Plus they're showing it off. So when they're out there competing, the judges, the contest coordinators, all that are the business industry partners. And so really, if they want, they can offer those students a job right there on the floor. So it's kind of a cool opportunity for both ends of it. But I'll kind of show you some of the ones that we do here. Like I said, there's over 100, but our students are involved in the ones I'm going to show you. So cosmetology, photography, things like that, job interview skills, so those employability pieces, leadership, presentation skills, that's all part of this. Even when we get into more of our hands-on stuff, like the plumbing and the welding fab and all that, a big part of that is presentation. Be able to explain the process you used, how you did it, the materials you used, and the reasons you have to do certain things. And so like here we have this skull, and I'll show you the lady who built this before, but there's about 400 hours into that piece. And so a big part of that is that presentation skill. And so working with industry partners around the area, they're saying we're missing a lot as our students are coming out. They're great workers, but they can't communicate what they're doing. And so that's where we're trying to kind of hit the nail on the head here with this. But this is these are pictures from nationals here. So here's kind of the HVAC competition. It doesn't show a ton of it, but just a little bit there. But we're kind of big here on the machining side of it. We get into a little bit of the robotics and the mechatronics, and we're not quite into airfield or aviation stuff yet, but we're getting, who knows, we might be there soon. The construction trades are where you fall in this building here. This top left one here is a teamwork, so it's a team of 4. So it's plumber, electrician, a mason, and a carpenter. They come together to build that project. Fortunate enough, that was kind of my area of study when I was in skills as a student. It's really great to be involved with. We do good with cabinet making, telecom, and then also electrical technology up there. Those are kind of our core areas that have gone to nationals over the last couple of years. We've been very successful with those. A little bit more. So all the automotive industry, and it's easy to see the support. So like when you talk about industry support and Skills USA, on the national level, at the national competition, they'll put up $36 million for that 4-day event. So you see the industry involvement is huge, and it's easy to see it in the equipment here. So like a Caterpillar dealer is really big here. All the cars they work on are brand new. Their techs are there. They go right into like the Ford Asset program or the Volkswagen program, or they'll get a sponsorship from Caterpillar or Cummins or anything like that. So this is a great way for them to actually showcase what they're doing so they can apply for those sponsorships and get them. So pretty much every diesel dealer and every like heavy truck equipment dealer in Omaha now has a sponsorship program. And that's kind of actually falling back even in the construction trades now. We have one construction company in town that is sponsoring students now to go through their programs. So we're kind of getting bigger here. We do really well in the firefighting, criminal justice areas. We have a couple students going down in those this year as well. We take pretty big pride in it. And so much like even these contests being set up by industry people, all of our faculty that come back are right out of industry. And so we keep those connection ties. We can train them on what they need to know, and it just makes it a really easy, smooth transition. And so just some of our other students competing and practicing. We try and get them into everything we possibly can, get them involved, and really push them to try and do different things. So just because they're in like the welding program there doesn't mean they couldn't do a chapter display and build that T-Rex and show some cool things. That's stuff we're trying to get them more involved in. We did so much focusing, like back when I was a student here, on just the trades part of it, but there's so much of the leadership aspect as well. So we're trying to get them involved in all the different things we can. And so here's Leah. She's the one that built that skull. And kind of a cool story that I like to tell about her is, so she started out as a student here, coming out of the military, got into welding, precision machining, loved them both, has now completed both those degrees, and she now works for the college. And so she has a full circle story. But her skills journey started with that skull last year. Didn't know much about it. She knew she liked to weld, wanted to create something that was kind of just right out of her head. She had 400 plus hours in that, and she actually won the state level and got 6th at nationals. Comes down to just the presentation though. So about 60% of that project is presentation, and so she did really well. So even this. Yep, she'll be going back this year to nationals on just a regular welding competition. And honestly, if you talk about even presentation skills, not the way she presented it, but the way she presented her piece. So at state, she was the only one at the welding contest that took the time to polish her piece when she was done, to brush off all the slag and everything like that. And I mean, and it basically against all the other ones, it stood out. And so that's what really pushed her ahead. So she's a pretty great story for us just for the success level of it. And then again, just some of our students. What's kind of unique about this one here is this is our welding fab high school team last year. They actually scored higher than all of our college teams, and it comes down to just show like the practice and dedication is really where it stands. So they were here they'd come in every Friday and every Sunday and practice. Spent hundreds of hours. I can't imagine how many hours they spent practicing, but they worked well as a team. They got it figured out, and they scored higher than all of our college teams did as well. So it's kind of cool. That's why I just like to push that back forward and just kind of reiterate too. But then the industry support too. One of the way we can hook our students is with kind of the prizes and that kind of stuff. So at the state level, our prizes aren't super great. But when you get to the national level, it's pretty big. So I work with the electrical competition at the national level. Every student that wins state, just for showing up to nationals, will get a $1,500 tool set, just for showing up. And so the winner of that competition, if you win electrical at nationals, you get $15,000 worth of tools. So I mean, it kind of shows you what industry's kicked in, and that's probably one of the highest tool kick out at nationals is the electrical contest. So that's what we work with. We have a couple of our instructors involved, and so we're trying to get them all to that level. And actually this year, here in Omaha, we're actually looking at having our first regional conference in the Omaha area, and so we will host it here at this college, and we're hoping to kind of follow in the footsteps of nationals. So we're getting bigger. Here at Metro, we do offer our students a scholarship for placing at state and nationals. So if they win state, they get a $750 scholarship. That'll basically pay for a quarter of tuition when they're here. We're pretty affordable, so it's really good. National levels, you can see we kind of tier down there, but we try and give it back to them. So we they support us, they represent us well. We want to make sure they come back and keep learning. And so we find a lot too with our students, if they graduate and they win, it's like come back and take some business classes, help develop your personal self as you go forward. So that's kind of what we're pushing with that. And then kind of one of the other things we do too is with the national level, if you get 1st through 5th, we go down and do a governor's recognition. And so we'll go down to the state capitol in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we'll put our students in front of the governor, and they do it with all the other student organizations, so like FFA and DECA and those guys as well. And we kind of just do, it's kind of just an open presentation with all the parents and families, and some of our big industry partners are there. And then we go across the street to the governor's mansion. They do like a backyard barbecue for everybody. So kind of one of the only chances that all the career organizations get a kind of mix throughout the year. But just a really cool opportunity for the students to showcase what they did, and they get a nice plaque and get a picture with the governor. So something just kind of unique. So. And then part of the Skills USA professional development, so they're working hard, they're competing, they're learning their leadership skills, their employability skills, they're doing fundraising, community service, all that kind of stuff along the way. We gotta have something fun. So some of the social activities, this is down when we were in Kansas City quite a few years back now, but this is something we try and do here too. We want to have our students come in and be involved, meet people, and just really network. So we're trying to, when they're here in the classes, they're making that network and just their program. So like if they're in electrical, just in electrical. But we want them to actually mix more between classes. So here in this building, to help kind of with the social aspect and networking piece is we're actually having our students as electives take classes in other departments. So we get a lot, like for our electrical program, we get a lot of students out of welding for some reason. But we're hoping like if they're in electrical, maybe they go take a plumbing class, maybe they go take a construction class. So when they go into a house or a building, they know why something is the way it is. And so we're trying to do that as well. But so like social aspects, we kind of tie it all together too. We try and get together once in a while. So down at Nationals next week, we actually get a hospitality suite. And so that's like the first time that all the students get to just kind of hang out together. So we really enjoy that kind of fundamental put together like that. And so another aspect they have too is you can be an officer. So here at the college, we actually have 5 officer seats. We have 2 that are pretty active. We have 3 that are kind of semi-active officers here at the college right now. But at the state level, there's 7 officers. There's 5 high school and 2 college. These students that run for state then have the chance to go on to be a national officer. So that's kind of a chance to travel. They get to go into companies and meet people. They get to go talk to schools. If they travel the country, they put on workshops and trainings. They also run all the big conferences. So it's really a chance for if you really want to take your CTE program to the next level, you can go up, you can actually put yourself in front of everybody and kind of just display your talents. So kind of a cool thing. From like my background, I stood in that spot one day at one time, and it took me from being that shy, quiet kid that sat in the back of the classroom to being okay to be up in front. Because I never thought I'd see myself in front of a room ever or be a teacher. So kind of cool where life takes you, but this is a great chance for our students to really step out of that comfort zone and then get some of those background trainings, and also develop kind of a family to support them as they go through. So with Skills USA, we kind of have all these pieces coming together, but the idea is they try and focus around this thing called our framework now. So if we're developing our personal skills, we're helping, we assist them with, we want them to push themselves forward, to really be successful, to step out of their comfort zone, to try new things. And so that's kind of our personal piece of this. The workplace skills, we're going to help them develop those. So, or they're going to get those when they get out there in the workforce. They'll work on communication, some decision-making, teamwork, that kind of stuff. And then their technical skills, and it says grounded in academics, and that's the idea, is like we do a lot of hands-on things here. So we can help them develop those skills through making mistakes in our lab, so that when they get out there in the real world, it's almost mistake-free type thing. So we want them to be as best as possible. So with the 3 pieces, we're trying to basically make a really well-rounded student. So I always tell the students where it says skills in the middle, take that out, put your name there. If you can perfect these 3 pieces, you're going to be an awesome individual when you get out there. And so that's kind of what Skills USA is here. Here at the college, we have about 140 members that are pretty active and do a lot of things. We take everybody who wants to go to state conference. We don't have anything regional right now, but we're gonna try that this year. And then those winners go on to nationals. What's kind of cool and unique about us with the college level than some of the other schools in the state is that if you're in like HVAC, so Robert has one student going to nationals, he will assist that student. Usually, like most schools will just take an advisor for all the students that qualify. We go one-on-one when we get to national level because there's so much going on. And I don't know enough about HVAC to help a student if he has a question. So we try and do something with that. And then we also, when we get to the national level and things like that, the college does fund all their traveling. So we fund all their traveling. We give a meal stipend. We do, so we cover their bus, their bus fees, and then all their registration and stuff like that. So really, it's no cost to the student. And that's kind of what we want to say is, when you win state, you get the scholarship, you get a free trip to Louisville, Kentucky for a week, you get the tools that come along with it, plus you get the experience and the time with your teachers outside of the class. So it's really just an all-around great experience. So, does anybody have any questions on skills?
You mentioned Leah now works with the college.
She does.
What department is she?
She's in our precision machine and welding department down at our South Omaha campus, which is about 9 miles south of here. And she actually is a lab assistant. So she makes parts for the labs and she's the one who really runs the shop, makes sure it's up and running, works on equipment, does all of our ordering and processing and all that kind of stuff down there too. So, but I wouldn't doubt me if she became a teacher here someday too. She's very skilled. So, yeah.
And if a college is new to all of this, right? How would it get started?
So if a college is new to this, you'd have to set up a charter with your state. So every state does have a state director. And so if you reach out to your state director, you could start that charter and get that going. But really it comes down to you got to have a strong advisor at the college or high school or whatever you're at that's going to push it forward. And that's kind of where we've been here. When I was a student here, we had a very strong advocate advisor that kind of got me involved, and he's the reason I actually came to Metro because I was not looking at Metro when I was looking for colleges. And so he was kind of what led me to this. And then now that's my job. I want to be that person that if they need something, I can be there. I'm strong behind it. I make sure our funding's there, make sure everything's there. That's kind of a big piece of it too. So just making sure that it continues on. Yeah.
For this type of trade, building automation systems, do they have a specific competition for controls or is that under the AC?
Not a ton yet, and I think it's going there. So every year they do add a couple new competitions, and so that was a discussion on the table last year, was something with more of controls because we're getting into we have the HVAC and refrigeration. We do a lot with motor controls and pneumatics and mechatronics and that kind of stuff. So we're doing that kind of control. And so we did have a discussion about how this needs to come forward. So whether we do something here with it or whether we do it a state-only thing and then maybe present it as a national competition in the future, but it's going to have to come up some point. So yeah, because over the last couple of years they've added in like drones and that kind of stuff too. So it's just that growing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
One quick add-on to that, Brian Level actually took a group of students when he was at GBTC to nationals doing building controls type They're actually part of the architecture and engineering competition. They built a model of one of the high-rise buildings in Atlanta, did all the lighting control, HVAC, things like that, built the whole front end to it. Was a fairly tall model. Those of you who were at the January workshop, if you remember Earl McFarland, who is one of Brian's former students, he was one of the members of that team. And I think they, if I remember right, they medaled at nationals with it too. So,
That's awesome.
while there is not a direct competition, there are still opportunities. It's just, you might have to be a little bit more creative.
Great, thank you very much. I want to say that I promote Skills USA. I like it. I competed as an adult in 2014 in Kansas City.
Oh, awesome.
It's a good experience for me, and I want to try to promote this at my school. We have my mentor teacher there. I'm a new teacher, only a couple of months in, and my mentor in the teaching program there, he's your position. He's the advisor for our school.
That's awesome.
Skills moved over this to Kansas City with an AC high school student too.
Well, that's fantastic. So, well, yeah, hopefully, if you guys aren't involved, I hope you would get involved. I can't.
It's good for the students.
It is. I can't tell you enough what it did for me. Like I said, I was that shy, quiet kid in the back of the room, and actually in 2014, I was a national officer. So, that was I never saw myself. I never saw myself to that point or to that level ever. But it's kind of crazy that if you get the right people, the right support, and it just pushes students through to achieve their dreams. So, it's an awesome opportunity.
Skyrocket somebody's career or their life.
It does.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Cause I just wanted to be a
Great
carpenter, and that's what I would have done.
opportunities.
So.
John, did you know
So yeah, how do they give you like a general guideline to follow? Do you bring it there, or do you doing it there, the projects?
Okay, so there's national standards, and you can and the projects are kind of based off of that. So some of the projects like you would build here and then take with you and kind of present them that way. So like Leah's skull, but like when you do like the construction ones, you actually build them on site there. So you build them on site and then tear them down because you're kind of graded based on like safety, how well you can read that blueprint and that kind of stuff like that. So, but they're
What did the building maintenance one do then? Do you know?
the building maintenance.
I saw that it's existed.
I'm not sure what that one would have. We've never touched it, so like
Oh,
that's
okay.
yeah. So I'm actually learning a lot too because we've just been into a handful of them over the years, and so we're starting to get a little deeper in a lot of different ones. So
Okay.
I'll have to look into that. But yeah, you can actually go on to like skillsusa.org online, and you can look up some of the competitions and see what they get involved in. So
Okay, good.
yeah, absolutely. Anything else, guys? Well, I appreciate letting me come in and talk. And so you do have a brochure in your folders there. That is my contact info. By no means am I the state director, but I can answer a lot of questions. So also feel free.
board member, John?
I'm a board member. Also feel free to reach out though. I can help get answers for you guys too. And so if you look at the national website, or the Nebraska website, or your state's website as well, just see what they have and what they offer. So everyone should be good to help though. So awesome. Thank you guys.